Well, a strange old innings there from the West Indies. We were wondering where they might get. We started with predictions of 170, 180. Then it looked as if they wouldn't even get to 110. And finally, a last typical Caribbean kick, which came a lot later than expected, took them to 142. I had suggested at one point I was going to go for a 140. I should have, but it was so unpredictable. Predictions are out the window. Nicholas Pooran, 40 of 22, finally finding form. Nothing for Lewis, nothing for Gale, nothing for Russell. Unlikely heroes in there. Pooran, Chase, and even Jason Holder, who was not even part of the original 15 when they got to the UAE. Well, what do we make of 142 for 7 and so many off or semi off field incidents to talk about? I'm joined by Joy and Michael Vaughan. Michael, we talked at the halfway point. It was a strange old innings, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And, we did mention mindset, and the West Indies' approach to batting in this tournament has been strange. The powerhouses that they have, the batting depth to number 9, and that top order just plays with so much of a timid mindset, which they don't need to require to do. I mean, I was delighted actually when Pooran and Jason Holder started to hit the ball, and it proves to you that it's purely a mindset of aggression. The pitch is a slow one, but still, with the way that these players hit the ball these days, just because it's slow doesn't mean that they're not going to be able to strike it into the stands. And it was proven that with the way Pooran played and the way that Holder hit it at the end. This pitch is slow, yes, there's a little bit of grab, but with the power that these players have now, if they go out there with the mindset and the belief to hit, they will be able to hit sixes, as we saw in the last few overs. The first 14 overs, it was as poor a batting display that I've seen, and in the last 6 overs, they were the West Indies. Of the West Indies that we like to watch and we think they should play like all the time, they took that mindset right at the top of the order from ball one. They'd have got 180 plus easily on that.
The only mindset we couldn't test was that of Andre Russell because he was out without facing a ball. Unfortunate, the worst way to get out. But Joy, first 10 overs, only 2 boundaries, lowest in this entire stage. First 15 overs, no sixes hit. West Indies haven't done that in a T20I since 2011. A few bizarre things in those first 15.
Bizarre. It was absolutely bizarre. And exactly that when Pooran came in, it's that, Hetmyer and Gale, they're just as capable of muscling the ball out of the ground. And they just seem to not be able to do anything. And, the one word that Michael used, timid. Timid is the word you used for that, top order batting. Because, you don't blame somebody like a Royston Chase because other people are meant to bat around him. And Hetmyer might have got out a bit early. But all the rest, nobody looked like there was real intent out there. And it required a pretty serious innings from Pooran to get them through. Mind you, they were also very, very lucky because I think the catching at least was absolutely appalling.
Yeah, Mehdi Hassan, I mean, he's normally a very fairly safe fielder, first of his own bowling. I mean, it's one thing of someone else's bowling. And then not too long after, another routine catch at deep mid-wicket. He drops as well. Total of 3 catches and 1 stumping. So while 142 looks conservative, Bangladesh should have felt that the way the West Indies approached it should have been 110, 120.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I thought Bangladesh with the ball in hand were excellent. They bowled the right lengths. They were skillful. At this level, I go back to what we talked about before about Bangladesh. The running between the wickets was horrendous against England. And now you're looking at fielding twice now that I've seen in this tournament, Bangladesh just not field to the standard. If you drop 1 catch, you can accept that. But when you drop 3 and 3 catches that really should be taken, that really is a 20, 25 run sway in the game. And 142, it's not a monster score. It's not a score that you're completely out of the reach of the opposition. But, it's a very competitive score in a day game on a Sharjah pitch that's just offering a little bit of grab for the spinners.
Now, the other incident that everyone will be talking about is Kieron Pollard. Not playing typical Pollard fashion, suddenly decides, I'm off. Now, we haven't been given any word whether he was feeling the heat, whether he was feeling unwell, didn't indicate anything, just walked straight off, I'm done, somebody else come in, and he comes in later, obviously feeling a lot better, and tonks the last ball of the innings for 6. Now, Joy, first thing we looked at was the rules. You have the rules in front of you. There was nothing in the rules that suggested he can't do that.
No, absolutely. The batter may retire, the rule which is section 25.4.1. A batter may retire at any time during his or her innings when the ball is dead. The umpires, before allowing play to proceed, shall be informed of the reason for a batter retiring. So far, so good. Okay, the interesting part is the next two causes. If a batter retires because of illness, injury, or any unavoidable cause, then he's entitled to resume her innings. If for any reason that does not happen, the batsman is recorded as retired out. So fine. If you have a genuine reason for it, you're retired, or you can come back and resume. But the third clause is if the batter retires for any reason other than in 25.42, that means not because of illness or any unavoidable cause, the innings of that batter may be resumed only with the consent of the opposing captain. That means Mahmudullah had a choice of whether Pollard could have walked back out or not. I'm not sure whether he knew what was happening out there, but technically, Mahmudullah, if there was no reason to go out other than the fact that he's saying so. My only reason this could be that he didn't ask for permission was perhaps while walking out, Pollard had said, I'm feeling sick or I'm feeling ill. He must have said something to the square leg umpire or one of the umpires while walking out, because there is no other reason he could have got away with it without taking the opposing captain's permission.
But Michael, while Pollard was in, you could see he wasn't timing the ball. It was one of those innings where if you're playing a friendly cricket match among school friends, you would say, listen, you can't hit the ball. Just hit your stumps and come back. We'll send the next guy in. The whole development was a bit strange.
Yeah, I can only think he just got a dizzy moment, maybe, the heat. If he'd been replaced by a left-hander, and, Andre Russell was out there next ball because he was run out at the non-striker's end. If he was replaced by a left-hander, you could start to think, wait a minute, suspicion here that they want a left-hander in there, facing a certain bowler, a certain matchup. I didn't see it as anything that he was struggling, and whether it was the heat, whether he just got a bit of dizziness, and in a short format game, if it is the case that you are in that situation, I think it's quite sensible to walk off, and then he comes back towards the end and he hits a six when he's feeling better. I didn't see it anything other than that. I'm sure there'll be others that'll say, oh, it's cheating, it's going off and bringing someone else out. I didn't see that. I just thought it was someone that was struggling. He went off and probably had a bit of ice put on him, took a few tablets, lied down for 10 minutes, and he felt a bit better to go out there and hit a few at the end. So, no, I'm with Pollard on this. I don't think it was the skullduggery. I'm sure that some will be thinking it is.
I can just add one more addition to it. He's not walked out to field. Nicholas Pooran is captain. So I'm not sure what developed, whether he's again decided to come out for one ball and not feeling well. The only thing I'll add to this very quickly is an incident in the CPL. Barbados Tridents were playing St. Lucia. Rakeem Cornwall, when me and Cornwall stand together, it's 200 kgs together. You work out the math. Rakeem Cornwall was batting, stand and deliver, got to a 50 of about 25 deliveries, and he was winded. He was genuinely winded. I was on the boundary line. I could see it. He said, I can't go on anymore. He started walking off. Darren Sammy was in next. It was a run chase. Pollard walked him all the way to the boundary line as the opposing captain and said, you cannot do this. You can't just walk off. If you're out, you're out. You can't just walk off just because you're not feeling right. And he gave him a mouthful. He said a few other things I won't repeat here. Cornwall did go off. As it happened, Sammy got out second ball, so it didn't matter. But you could see Pollard disapproved of the tactic. Now, whether it was his tactic or not, only time will tell. I'll leave it at that.
Interesting.
But let's just wrap the show, Joy, with yeah, go ahead. Make your point.
One other thing is that Shakib's injury also caused a problem, because Shakib came in only to bowl in the 10th over. So he bowled 10, 12, 14 and 16, and therefore his last over went for quite a few, because by that time Pooran was a bit set and smashed him all over the place. So that also possibly cost them 10, 15 extra runs. Interesting, apparently Shakib has come in to open the innings.
Also, Michael, one more tactical issue. I know we got sidetracked by Pollard. Mehdi Hassan, did Mahmudullah leave him for a little too late for that last over? We've always said that. A little risky, and it went for about 18 or 19.
Yeah, maybe. He was probably playing the right-hand card, wanting to get the left-handers on to face Mehdi Hassan. He bowled great at the top of the innings, bowling to left-handers. I think this happens in T20 cricket, where captains try and hope the matchup arrives. And sometimes the matchup doesn't arrive because two players play so well, and then you have to bowl a certain bowler against batters that really, it's more in the batter's favour. And a bowler gets hit. That's T20 cricket. It's very, very difficult to get every combination and every matchup perfectly suited in a 20
I
over
had my
game.
eye out for a Shomo Sharkar maybe coming in there at the end. That's the kind of role he generally tends to play. But just to wrap the show, one more little surprise, as if it's a day of surprises on Michael Vaughan's birthday. Shakib Al Hasan walks out to open the innings. Can you read into that, Joy?
Yeah, I
For the
can.
first time in
It's
a
almost
T20I.
Yeah, I think very clearly he's hurting. He's hurting. He's injured. Okay, so they've sent
Yeah.
him out, stand and deliver in the first 6 because he's not going to be able to run too much. This is his best chance to go and whack it. He's too good a batsman for them not to put in there because I don't think he'll be able to do too much running. I think he's just going to stand and try and whack it as much as he can and see where he goes because he was struggling to finish his over. So that's probably the plan with Shakib. Otherwise, this is not something they'd want to do. They like him at 3 because they can play around him then.
Yeah, well, I hope he's taken some lessons from Chris Gale as to how to stand and deliver and not run too many singles. Michael, last word from you on the show. 142, Bangladesh or West Indies at this stage?
I am going to go Bangladesh.
Fair enough. I think I would concur with him there as well in terms of a run chase. They're tactically looking okay. It's not a huge ask. West Indies maybe don't have that firepower with the ball, or do they? Joy, you also going Bangladesh?
At this stage, I'm going Bangladesh. Yes, it is. I think this is their best chance. If they 140 is a kind of total they look at and forget everything that happened. Forget the first 10. If they'd been asked from this at the start of the innings, would you take 142? They'd take it in a flash.
Yep. The other reason I'm also sneaking towards Bangladesh is just the presence of a Kyron Pollard as captain on the field makes a bit of a difference for the West Indies. Pooran, a lot of other qualities. Captaincy maybe not quite one of them, but we'll see if that makes a difference. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Joy. That's all we have on Cricbuzz Live. We'll be back in the 10th over for Cricbuzz Combox. Until then, we'll see you soon.